In June 1793, the Barnsley Act was passed and the first sod of a canal was cut at Heath on the 27th of September of that year. The Act provided for the building of what was to become known as the Barnsley Canal, a waterway from the River Calder near Wakefield to the neighbourhood of Barnsley. The intention was to provide cheap transport for the high-quality coal from the rich coalfield around Barnsley and particularly the Silkstone area. However, not only was coal transported from Barnsley, but corn was carried to the mills at Barnsley. Coal down, corn up. Winterset Reservoir was built to feed water to the canal. In 1767, Thomas Waterton, father of Charles, began to build the house that we now know as Walton Hall. Upon his return from his third journey to South America, Charles found that poaching had become rife at Walton Hall. Foxes and rats were in abundance, the house being infested with the latter, and he sought to eliminate all three. The boatmen on the canal were of particular irritation, as they would sit atop their vessels and shoot his pheasants. Charles' solution was to build a stone wall around his parkland, varying in height between 9 and 16 feet. The height, he tells us, over which a fox cannot jump. The highest part is alongside the canal, and it is widely accepted that this was the first part to be constructed. Building commenced in 1821 and continued over the following 5 years. Whenever Charles had £500 in cash, or tin as he called it, he would buy some stone and set on the masons. When the money ran out, building ceased. This piecemeal building is evidenced by the differing qualities of stone used in the construction. At a total cost of £9,000, Charles, being a teetotaler, said he paid for it with the wine he did not drink. The completion of the wall in 1826 meant that Charles Waterton had created a nature reserve which is believed to be the first in the world. The gun was banned and the foxes quickly left such a confinement. Charles had several confrontations with poachers in his parkland. On one occasion, he was almost strangled by his own cravat. Wildlife flourished. One year he recorded 40 herons' nests, and on the 3rd of January 1835 he wrote, "Today there can be no less than 3,000 wild ducks on the lake." Close inspection of the wall today reveals several interesting features. The North Gate. At first sight, this appears to be a gateway into an open field with no apparent purpose. A study of the topography of the wider area suggests this would have been a carriageway to Nostell. The Arch. The open archway in the wall is situated where the gateman's cottage lodge once stood, enabling him to observe approaching visitors. Navvies' cottages. The deep cut of this section of the canal would have taken some time to blast and dig out. The workmen, or navvies, would have been lodged here for some time. There is evidence of the doorways, stone lintels and uprights in the section of the wall which borders Lake View at Stone Heaps. There are 4 bridges between Walton Village and Coldhainley Reservoir. In 1836, the canal was made deeper to accommodate larger vessels by building up the banks. A breach which would flood the farmland was feared, and to limit the damage this would cause, gates were laid on the canal bed. The theory was that a rush of water would raise the gates. This is evidenced by the cuts in the stonework of the bridges underneath the arches. They were known as Brindley Bridges, the original design being that of James Brindley, a canal engineer. Today, the parts of the wall remain as we envisage it might have done when first built. However, this is certainly not true of its entirety. In 1834, there was a hurricane, and Charles reported that 40 yards of wall were blown down. There are sections of the wall on the northeast part that have buttresses which appear to have been erected to support the wall and prevent further collapse. Some areas have been extensively weathered to form what some may feel are attractive features. In other areas, the impact of weather has eroded the wall to such an extent that it has simply crumbled away. There are, unfortunately, parts of the wall that appear to have been subjected to vandalism, and stone has been removed from the site. Some parts of the wall have been carefully maintained by its current owners. This monument, its history and the area that it encompasses have attracted the interest of naturalists over the many years of its existence. Without doubt, it is of national and indeed international importance. Much has been written about it, and a recent established Facebook group soon attracted a considerable following. The wall is important to the social and industrial heritage of the village of Walton. It is falling into disrepair, and something needs to be done urgently. To abandon it to the ravages of time is to abdicate our responsibility to future generations. So, what do we do?